Shooby doop doop, shooby wah. Trusty ape. Well, here we are again. Hopefully my internet connection holds up. It's been a little weird out here, but so far looking okay. Happy Tuesday to y'all. Today is June 9th, 2026. Happy Pride to all who celebrate such things. In case I haven't said it yet, or you haven't heard it today, yeah, we support the LGBTQIA plus community on this channel. Speaking strictly for myself, uh, but either way, no, yeah, we try to be inclusive against bigotry of all types, shapes, and forms. Um, on that note, I have been looking for a regular co-host for some time. So I tried to work that out with a couple people. It didn't line up, but if anybody is interested in being a regular guest on the program, it's definitely something I am interested in. Um, I've also considered. So my other thought on this is that I like to regularly host a open panel, but also I've considered starting a group, like a group chat, whether on Discord or Facebook or somewhere like that, um, where maybe if people were interested, I could add them to that group, and then just regularly post links for live streams. So it'd be a bit more of a selective group that could join. So yeah, if anybody's interested in such a group, I don't want to like add people willy-nilly who don't have any interest in that. I guess they could just remove themselves, but that was my thought process there. But yeah, the next stream will likely be an open panel. But yeah, if you're interested in potentially joining me as a co-host on a on a more regular basis, that's something that yeah, that I'm into. Um, anyway, so yeah, I'm here for a short time again today. If you've seen the most recent uploads from the conversation I had primarily with Jill over there at Hillary's channel, yeah, I clipped those out of a lengthier conversation. So obviously you can go over to Hillary's emails and see the full combo over there if you're interested. But yeah, I tried to take what I thought were the more relevant and some of the funnier portions of that conversation and go and play with them. So I'm messing around with the video editor again and stuff. Of course, I'm doing all that through my phone, so super low tech. But yeah, hey, Will, good to see you. Um, yeah. But today I wanted to go back through and go work on back into the NanoCon stuff. Before we do, though, I will say I have the link for the fundraiser to try to get to NanoCon, of course, is in the description. There are other conventions that potentially could make an appearance at. One such convention. I think Rocket City Reason is like right around the corner, so I wouldn't be able to make it there. Um, but the other one was the Ark Encounter Protest, which is apparently the 10th anniversary. So we'll play that here from the Kentucky Atheist channel. So they've gone to great lengths to make sure that this continues to happen. And awesome people are going to be there too. I'm definitely interested in attending such an event. So here's the thing from there. So yeah, that's the Ark Encounter protest, obviously taking place. Uh, so this is a little bit before. Whoa, hey, nope,
Hey
stop,
guys,
stop the video.
I'm
So
gonna see if
I hit the pause button. No. Oh, what's up, Freethinkers Fireside? Good to see you. And so on that note, I was like, where are we going? Where are we going? Um, yeah, so I just watched through this, and we'll go through this one because Michael Beverly decided to target Godless Granny this morning, and Godless Granny has been a friend of the channel, and I found a lot of the stuff that he says in here just ridiculous. So hopping on the Jay Bundy train, right? I lump these folks in together now. I noticed other people have kind of taken a different tact. Um, anyway, but Michael's been pretty aggressive in his responses here, and so yeah, I just looked through this, and so it's not for me to respond on Gigi's behalf or anything like that. But I will respond to some of Michael's points here, and kind of the way he's gone about this. And we're just going to keep on it. I mean, I've still got lots of Bundy content I'm looking at. I'm going to speed it up a little bit, although Michael's pretty, um, yeah, he's not slow speaking as I am today. But yeah, I want to try to get through most of this. I think we'll see how that goes though. Anyway, welcome.
You are known by the friend.
What's up, Smokey Bears? It's been a while. Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, I have. We should have a talk later on. Yeah, I got work in a little bit, but after that, I'll be free. So
Friends you keep, and the Gleasons are toxic. You are known by the friends you keep, and the Gleasons are toxic, ugly, lying, disgusting human beings. This is part 2 of a response to an email I received from Kelly of the.
So now the primary target, of course, is John and Casey Gleason. John is the event organizer. Essentially, he's taking on the brunt of the actual work involved in organizing NanoCon and stuff like that. So of course he's taking the brunt of the hate from these guys. And I don't, like I've been watching Godless Engineer for a bit. Since he started. Anyway, so he's been around and seems like a pretty nice dude, other than, like him being on the channel a little bit ago. I haven't had like personal interactions with John, so I mean, this is one of those parasocial relationships, I guess, but right, like I'm also, judging from what I hear from others and shit like that. Hey, what's up, Detroit Atheist Queen? Better than Ember. Yeah, in defense of, no, we apparently I'm representing the white men or something, I guess. Wait, no, what? I think I think we're just trying to represent the side of reason here. Of course, Michael's gonna accuse us of being unreasonable, but yeah, he's gone into personal attack against Godless Granny in this video. This is most recent upload, I believe, and so we're checking it out.
Godless Granny channel regarding an incident that happened at NanoCon last summer, where a woman was assaulted and the organizers of the event and other atheist skeptic friends of the organizers worked to cover up this crime. Now, I'll put links to a paper that I'm using as a reference point. It was created for the Canadian government, Justice Canada, in order to help law enforcement better understand rape myths and how people's misunderstanding of trauma, the neurobiology of trauma, and how victims respond. And this is important. And the reason I'm responding to this is because in Kelly's defense of herself, of her actions, she repeats common rape myths. And this creates a culture of danger for women. If we can't expect otherwise intelligent, progressive women who've been in the space a long time and who have access to information, if we can't expect them to get informed on a subject they are part of and in the middle of and know about and are friends with people involved in, then what are we doing? How are we calling ourselves, quote, skeptics? And how do we say we care about evidence when we won't spend 3 minutes online doing basic research on stuff that's easily discoverable? Now,
I mean, so he's talking about this paper. He's citing this 2019 paper apparently, which I mean it's one such piece of like information, right? There's definitely people who are getting informed of that. Like, but let's talk about the whole issue where are we being informed just on trauma responses generally? Are we looking at the facts involved in this particular case? Oh yeah, I think we got the facts involved in this particular case that people are now kind of judging the situation based on that, right? The secondary issue that's going to come up is like Jay Bundy's behavior and like how that apparently shouldn't matter because he's trying to say something important, and even if he targets and verbally accosts everybody involved in the process, that's okay, right? That's just fine, so let's apologize for that.
again, we're coming in the middle here.
What's up, Dr. Kiff? Good to see you. Oh look. Ember says, "Oh no, the raving lunatic might accuse people of random things." Horror. Yes, that's what's going on. So he's released this private email correspondence between himself and Godless Granny. As far as I know, completely out of context. We don't know how this conversation was initiated. I'll get into that a bit later.
It's part one. I'll put a link to it. This is part two.
Welcome. Oh, and Ways to Human. Good to see you. Yep, covering the bullshit.
One of the things that Kelly said to me in this email is my integrity is not on the line. Now, what's ironic to me is she started off this email exchange by lying to me. So she lied to me about Nancy, the victim's position on.
I just want to keep in mind there's going to be a couple instances where I'm going to bring this up. This is like a pre-recorded and edited video. Michael's lighting is like all fucked up throughout, and then we hear the cats, and there's going to be other stuff where I'm like, why is that in there? But that's a little bit of me just being, yeah.
This she tried to deflect, like, this is a private matter. Why we shouldn't talk about it. We should respect Nancy. It's private. Well, this is a lie. Nancy has written a statement, and Nancy has supplied to me medical records and the original police report.
Wait. Nancy supplied to you personally her medical records? Really?
And Nancy is supporting what I'm doing. Nancy is not asking for us to remain silent on this. Exactly the opposite is the case, in fact.
So he's taking up like the Jay Bundy position where he's like, no, Nancy told us to do this, which is, I mean, okay, maybe. I mean, we might believe that, but it's not suspicious. It's a little weird that we don't hear from Nancy, but yeah, apparently you and Jay have. Okay.
Nancy has realized that this culture of silencing women is toxic, and Nancy has fully supported those of us that are.
Did she realize that, or did somebody convince her of that? Because that, I think, is part of the question here. It says my wife is doing some. I got the quality turned down so that we don't get cut off. Oh, that's why the cat keeps meowing.
Advocating on her behalf. And part of the reason is because Nancy is.
He's like, he just had made a point to be like, no, the cat's fine. Don't worry about the cat. Okay.
As well as anyone else that looks at the evidence realizes that Elliot Martin will harm a woman again. So if you care about women, silence.
I mean, presuming that he harmed the woman the first time. Now, it's not saying. I mean, hey, nobody's denying the entirety of the claim, right? We're just curious about how that happened. What really went down in the stairwell? And so much speculation, right? But we can only judge by the facts that are presented, and then use our best judgment to try and piece it together from our end.
Here is the exact opposite tack you should take. You should be about disclosure, about honesty, about public discussion. So, yes, Kelly, your integrity is on the line because you lied to me. Why did you lie? What motivated you to lie? And Kelly's not the first person that's started this.
Did she lie? I don't think she's lying. Like, from her perspective, from anybody else's perspective, they haven't heard from those people directly. Now, As AJ pointed out on a previous video, in the comments here, very succinctly, it sounds like Elliot is, pretty much willing to talk about this to people who are like reasonable and respectful. I have made no attempts to contact him myself. I think this is probably the last thing that he wants to talk about, but apparently if people want to reach out and talk to Secular Rarity, that avenue is open, and just ask him about his, but the considerations being made, which is so nefarious for the privacy, the security, the safety of the alleged victim in this case, right? Um, Also, it's alleged, not alleged. Just think about it, and then yeah, get back to me on that one. But anyway, yeah, just figured that came up in another video, but we'll not go there.
Dr. Kip Davis did the same thing, as did Cynthia McDonald, after I asked her why she was streaming on Elliot Martin's channel. Now, you would think that a progressive, intelligent woman like Cynthia McDonald would.
Yeah, as Freethinkers Fireside points out here. Sorry, I have to switch my screen here, but yeah, cut off contact and thank those involved for their support. Our receipts for that. And Express, yeah, AJ says, and Express being happy with the way things were handled. Nobody had any indication that Nancy was not happy with anything we had done. Yeah. Patty, on the other hand, different story. And that's what we see. We only hear from Patty on behalf of Nancy, and now these folks. Yeah.
At the very least, say to herself, "Gee, this topic is super toxic, and it's still being discussed and debated, and there is certainly a chance. I mean, unless you're completely blind, you can't possibly think that there's no chance that Elliot Martin is not a predator. Like, you can't say to yourself, if you're honest, that you're confident he's never going to harm a woman again, and it's a bad look. So why would Cynthia?
Well, in this isolated incident, right? This singular instance that we hear about, even the alleged victim herself still kind of seems to indicate throughout the story that she doesn't think that the person that she was dealing with was of sound mind, right? This is not something that you would seemingly normally do, right? Even if you believe the story in its entirety, on just at face value, you would say that this person was, according to all accounts, extremely intoxicated and not acting in his usual fashion. Add to that the fact of being pressured into, potentially pressured into these acts by the alleged victim. Adds a whole nother layer of the story that they don't want to talk about. They don't want to talk about that.
Donald stream on Elliot's channel, the Secular Rising nonprofit channel. Well, the reason is obvious if you start looking at it, is the people involved in this have a.
Oh wait, we got. So AJ says, I saw the messages Michael sent Cynthia. He was his usual dickhead, belittling, demanding, accusing. Yeah. Yeah, you can't say, hey, let's just talk about this. I just want to have a conversation with you, while also accusing somebody of being a predator, apologist, or whatever, running around and stating as fact things that you have no fucking way of knowing whether they're true or not. You're just going to take that position. And Kip said, confident is not the same as certain. I barely know Elliot, met him online once. I'm extremely confident that he would not harm a woman, but I'm not certain of this. Yeah, great point. Yeah, we don't fully know, but judging by all of the witnesses to character, right? So it goes beyond whether or not you simply trust Elliot. Do you trust all the other people who were in that room that night? Or are they all covering it up for personal gain somehow? It's just ridiculous.
Motivation to cover up what Elliot did, because it's reputation management, and they're all these nonprofits are intertwined. So Cynthia McDonald is she's on the board. She's listed in the IRS filings for Black non-believers, and is friends with Mandisa, who's been intimately connected with Patrick Horst and the Nuns Convention since
I still don't know who the fuck this Patrick guy is. Apparently, he's affiliated in the leadership of the National Nuns. And Michael says support for these claims are all in the paper link in the description. So,
Going back to the beginning of it. So yes, Kelly, your integrity is on the line because you're standing with.
But yeah, Cynthia and Mandisa, are with the Black Non-Believers organization, is that's part of their work and what they do in these charity, these nonprofit organizations. I don't know if it's necessarily a charity, but it's an activist group, functioning as an NPO, right?
People that are covering up a crime, and their reasons are partially reputational and they're partially for profit. Now, the thing about integrity is integrity isn't just about being.
Sorry, I'm trying to. Okay, it did come through. Freethinkers Fireside says that it's not showing up on this side. Sorry, I'm seeing it in YouTube, but not on my StreamYard side. So Freethinkers Fireside said, I have known Elliot like 4 to 5 years and have said to him and others, I could lay in bed naked with him, tell him no sex, and he respect that. That's big. See, I mean, that is a testament to character. And so, yeah. Like, again, I forgot that I had interacted with Elliot like years ago, before he got, his hosting positions and stuff at Ethan's channel, Your Friendly Neighborhood Atheist, until Bria brought it up. That was what triggered the memory for me. So, but yeah, I mean, he's been around. He doesn't create content on his own. Like he's always been about like building up these communities, and trying to support them, and just kind of being a speaker in the atheist circles. So I've never seen him. I don't know about secular rising and all of that, but it doesn't seem like it's anything for personal gain or wealth or anything like that. I mean, you could say notoriety, but what is that? It just means that he's like well known in atheist spaces. But that doesn't really tell you that he's doing anything. Um, Again, what is the sinister motivation
Being
behind this?
honest and telling the truth. Integrity can also involve how you evaluate evidence, how you respond to allegations, and how you hold consistent or inconsistent standards. So in other words, having double standards is not integrous. Dismissing evidence and refusing to look at evidence on an issue that you're intimately involved with is not integrous. So Kelly,
At what point do you think that Gigi dismissed the evidence or refused to look at it? So we're building up to it here, though.
is financially supporting John and Casey Gleason's project, the Rocket City Reason. And
Is that John and KC's project, Rocket City Reason? I think that's does. I mean, they may be involved in the organization in some way of that event, right? But isn't that I just want to make sure, is that hosted by Black Non-Believers? Let's look at it, because it's all pretty. Yep, there's the convention. Huntsville, Alabama. Forrest Balkai, Erica Gets a Gibbon, and Seth Andrews will be there. Who is sorry, and there's a code of conduct. Sponsors, go over here. Yeah, Godless Engineer, Secular Rising, Godless Granny, the American Humanist Association, Skeptic and Scoundrels, Astronova, and the Phil Ferguson Show. So those are the sponsors of Rocket City Reason. And yeah, so this is a convention in Huntsville, Alabama, going on in October. Okay, so I may have gotten that. All right, so the Arc Encounter is before NanoCon. Rocket City Reason is actually a ways out. So hey, you go there. I like all these speakers. But yeah, okay. So he's like, oh well, if she's supporting Rocket City Raisin, she must be. Dude, what are you talking about? Is it? I just want to see. We have speakers and the sponsors. I mean, who runs these things? Is that the question? Because I feel like we're getting kind of lost in the. So there are multiple organizations, 17 speakers, 3 panels, 2 full presentations, 1 live call-in show at the U.S. Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville, Alabama. The regular conference is $99. The Friday night social event is $80. And the S&R Center excursion, Science and Reason, I imagine. Or wait, okay. Anyway, there's another $25. But these are all, again, you're paying to see the speakers, to participate in all of that going on. Um, so most of these are largely going to be volunteer based again, right? Because these are nonprofit organizations hosting an event for secular gathering. I just can't. Yeah.
And I'm calling her out as not being integrous because supporting John and Casey, who
What's up, Joe? Good to see you. Kentucky Atheists is a nonsense of a nonsensical person. Oh, okay, okay. I got so there's 2 different events there: Rocket City Reason and the Revival of Reason, doing the sponsoring to one another. Okay, so yeah, it's a little bit of confusion there. Thank you, Helen.
have been chief instigators of a smear campaign against Nancy.
Yeah, Wade Stevens says the sponsorship of each other's events can vary greatly in cost from $50 to $5,000.
Puts you in support of that smear campaign. So, for instance, John Gleason has built a website to publish AJ Ruley's smear campaign that's filled with lies and contradictions and utter nonsense. So by Kelly supporting,
John published a website responding to the allegations made against him specifically, him and KC, right, that you guys are making, to try to clear some of the air there and add for the transparency that you guys have asked for. You wanted them to talk about this more, and so he is, and now you don't like the way he's doing it, right? Like that's really what's going on here. He's like, oh no, it's a smear campaign against. No, no, it wasn't. But it's other people's like honest observations of the events that actually took place, including correspondences with the alleged victim, that seemed to directly contradict the claims being made by yourself and Jay Bundy at this time, and the whole way this has been handled by your side. And so, of course, John would have to respond to that, right? What type of person wouldn't?
John, she is supporting what John's doing. You can't untwine those things. They're combined together. It's impossible to separate yourself from it. If you support Nazis, you're a Nazi supporter. If you support women bashing, you're a woman bashing supporter. If you support misogyny, homophobia, transphobia, all of those things, you can't. And you support people that do that. In fact, this is the very thing. Now, here's the irony. People are refusing to look at the evidence or pretending the evidence doesn't exist. And one of their excuses is that, oh, well, Jay Bundy is supporting transphobia or misogyny or all these other things. Now,
and none of those people are not looking at the evidence. They're looking at the evidence, and they're also saying, hey, Jay is guilty of a number of the things that he's accusing others of. And in his presentation, however, I don't understand how you continue to defend that over and over again. You're like, well, Jay's just angry. He's okay. I could just be angry and start, shouting racial slurs, doing all those things, right? I guess that's one response. Is it a reasonable, logical response? Probably not. But you can continue to sit here and defend it, Michael.
That's completely erroneous, complete lies. Like they're misdirecting. Jay is the exact opposite of what they're saying.
Completely erroneous, complete lies. Right. Watch Jay's content for any number of hours, and you'll find that they are not erroneous. It is directly reflected. He does it unapologetically and then says, oh no, I can do that because I'm on the right side of this. So I can say all the wrong things and still be right. um, just attacking people who are not even directly involved in this because
Saying, but the fact that they recognize that if it were true that Jay Bundy was a misogynist, transphobe, and an evil, rotten person, then my support of Jay would I would have to accuse myself of the same thing I'm accusing Kelly of, being adjacent to horrible stuff. Now, of course, I've looked into
of course he's looked into it.
it because
There's
I'm not
no way
stupid,
that's
and Jay
happening.
is not these things. Jay is a man of integrity, and Jay has been pounding on this issue because Jay sees it for what it is. Now, Kelly is ignoring what it is and supporting those people that are been trashing Nancy, and it's disgusting. Um,
She's supporting the event. She's a supporter of the event. Does that support the individual? Uh, Not necessarily.
now, now, one other thing. So, Kelly seems to be on the position that there's not enough evidence to believe Nancy, and this is a sidebar here.
The position is that there was not enough evidence to pursue criminal charges, right? Uh, SR Elliott did admit to some wrongdoing and was stepped down from those positions in those organizations. And what more did you expect? What more did you expect?
I want you guys all to think about how many witnesses there are to a sexual assault, right? Like, how many times does a rape or a sexual assault happen with video cameras rolling or a group of witnesses? Now, it does happen sometimes that there are witnesses, of course, but it's rare.
But that's pretty fucking rare, right? And in this instance, as I said previously, we have a lot more evidence than we otherwise would of witnesses directly before and after the event, of the correspondences privately between all of those who are actually involved. So we know a lot more than we would in a lot of cases. Given all of the information, the totality of it does not look good for the allegations made by the victim. Um, the mere fact of her inconsistency is only one thing to consider. What appears to be outright lies, right, made after the fact to try and legitimize her own position is another layer on that, on that we need to consider. That it definitely looks like she is trying to turn around and cover her tracks after the fact, um, because maybe she recognizes that her own behavior was problematic or could be perceived as problematic. But either way, that's what it looks like happened.
The majority of the time that a woman says she was sexually assaulted, the only witnesses are her and the accused, two people. If we were to follow the standard that Kelly is standing on, if we were to follow Kelly's example, we would not believe 99% of victims. Now, you all progressives on the flying monkey side, the predator advocates, you all keep saying, "Oh, we believe victims." Really? How? Because every single victim, except for a few, is coming to you with a story without, quote, adequate evidence, according to y'all, because there's just her and the accused. That's
Yeah. Ember says, now we come to the unfalsifiable theory part of the presentation. Yeah. And yeah, Freethinkers Fireside says, if you look at the post between Michael Beverly and myself, I keep asking him basic questions, and all he does is grandstand, insult, accuse people of the same thing he's doing. It is really pathetic. Yeah, he's oh man, he's really gone off the deep end on this one.
most cases. Most. You guys seem to be saying that if you don't have DNA evidence and a jury conviction after a trial, you shouldn't believe a woman. And if
That's not what anybody said. Nobody fucking even asked for that. Like it's just the straw man. We're just building up the straw man.
you're not saying that, then why don't you believe Nancy? She has told a clear and credible story. She has told the story from within like the first hour of
He says clear and credible. Is it? Is it clear and credible? I don't track with
this
that.
event.
I'm
She told this
sorry.
to Stacy, and she's maintained the same story. Now, what you keyed
Is that what she told Stacy? I'd be interested to hear that. As far as I know, yeah, we've heard very little from Stacy, and it doesn't seem to yeah, it doesn't seem to line up with what she says later again, they keep saying Stacy found her in the hallway as opposed to her actual statement, Nancy's actual statement that says that she ran into Stacy or bumped into Stacy or something to that effect.
On is there's inconsistencies and there's things that don't add up to you. And the problem with that is entirely in line with what we know. I'll put the paper in the link again. The paper makes this very clear. The neurobiology, the psychology, the effect of trauma on a woman who has been abused leads to the very things happening that you guys are criticizing Nancy for and claiming is the reason that you evaluate her story as being a lie. And that's the other thing that Kelly has done here. She's claimed that she's not calling Nancy a liar while calling her a liar, essentially. Kelly, you're inferring that Nancy's lying because if you believed her, you couldn't take the position that you're taking. So that means you don't believe her because if you believed her...
But what position has she taken? She's taken an agnostic position on there is a claim made based on the evidence. It seems shaky, right? You can still be agnostic to this claim.
You wouldn't be behaving this way. Jesus Christ. Okay, section 10 in my notes here. This whole thing is unhealthy for the community. This whole thing. See, this is partly a generational thing from, please, cat, don't stand on my keyboard. Come on, kitty. The cats are like...
Yeah, what does Kelly mean by this whole thing?
In my office because my wife's doing some remodeling outside and she doesn't want the cats out there.
Yeah, we read the fucking note earlier, bud.
So Weta has been climbing on my keyboard. She's been annoying crap out of me. This whole thing is unhealthy for the community, Kelly writes. This whole thing. Okay, so what she's doing here, for starters, is minimizing what it is. It's not a thing, Kelly. It was an attempted rape and a strangulation of an attendee of an atheist skeptic conference by...
Well, that's the claim. But what is the whole thing? Is the whole thing the drama narrative being pushed on YouTube? The actions of Jay Bundy, making threats, harassing people? Is that the whole thing that we're talking about? Or was it just the mere fact of the accusation? Did anybody say, oh no, Nancy could never say that? That's wrong. Oh, what's up? Miss Nitty in there? Catching up on 1.5. Yeah, good luck with that. No. Yeah, and Ember said, we know Michael Beverly and friends will hurt women because they keep doing it on a daily, on main day in and day out. Yeah, they don't care. They don't care who they target in their quest for justice, supposedly. Yeah, Dr. Kip says, yeah, I have closer relationships with people who trust, and I trust who know him better, trust him a fuck ton more than the brain-addled Michael Beverly. Fucking guy, man. See, and I knew because I heard them just parroting the statements that Jay was making. Like, that was when I knew that there was something else going on there. And that's what really attracted my attention, honestly, because I would have written Jay off, like I'd already written Jay off. I was like, this guy's completely nuts. But then I heard it from these guys, so yeah, the more you know. Yeah.
One of the key organizers of that conference, who then had insiders and friends discredit the woman.
What was the last one ever? So there's another parallel to Flat Earth. Michael hasn't read the paper he holds up as proof because just like Flat Earth, the citation debunks his claim. It's great.
Smear the woman, obstruct justice. I mean, they wrote reports to the police to discredit her story, to discredit her.
They gave their own statements to the police, talking about what they themselves witnessed and had experienced in terms of the correspondences they had with her and Elliot, presumably, right? And so that is making a statement to discredit her, or does the fact that they had a take that was not favorable for her make call her credibility into question, right? So you would have to say that these people intentionally went out of their way to make false statements to discredit this person. That's the claim that's being made. And why? Why? Because they hate women? Do these women hate women? Uh, do they just want the conference to go on that badly? Wait, I mean, even if, let's say that this had gone completely the other way and secular rarity had been tried and convicted of this crime, would that still necessitate shutting down the conference? Is that the response that is reasonable in this instance? According to
They've been
some.
calling her a liar. They continue to call her a liar.
What's up, Sandals? 2000, good to see you. Says, I think people should focus on the Stanley Cup, but also cancel the Stanley Cup finals. Great logic
So it's
there.
not a whole thing. Let's use real words, Kelly. You're a grown up. Name things what they are. Now, if you want to be cautious, you can say the alleged incident. Like I wouldn't fault you if you said Nancy's
But the question isn't even about the alleged incident. It's about your responses, Jay's responses. It's about the things that you guys are doing on the internet to try and like spread awareness in scare quotes. What were you doing with that? What was your intention? So far as we can tell, Jay's intention is to shut down NanoCon. Why? Because he's fucking said that. Why do I think he's trying to shut down NanoCon? Because he said he wanted to shut down NanoCon. Because because reasons. He's got
allegations of
reasons.
attempted rape and strangulation are unhealthy for the community, right? Like, well, I'd find fault with I would find fault with you making that statement because it's gross, but I wouldn't find fault with you for putting the word alleged in there. I understand that caution. Now, why is it unhealthy? What is unhealthy? At first glance, this almost sounds
Your behavior is unhealthy, Michael. But yeah, so Kelly didn't reference the incident. Was she talking about the incident, or was she talking about the coverage of the incident and the toxicity being spread around these circles? Is that what she was talking about?
reasonable, right? This whole thing's unhealthy. Who wants a community to be destroyed? Who wants division? Who wants fights? Who wants all these friendships broken up? We had a
Jay Bundy wants that,
go play.
and you're helping him out. You're his little buddy over here,
Go be
Michael.
away. Who wants this? Well, like nobody really wants division and hatred and friendships breaking and community destruction. So it sounds reasonable. It sounds like Kelly's being reasonable, but it's not. Because what is unhealthy? We're supposed to be skeptics. Is discussion unhealthy?
Yeah, that's a great point, Helen. Again, I'm not. Oh, sorry. It's taking a minute for my StreamYard chat to catch up, but yeah, Freethinkers Fireside says MB is showing his true colors. If you look at who he and Jay have gone after, it's marginalized people, especially women, except for Dr. Kip, whom I got nothing on his. Well, see, I know what that is too. It was because Jay went through his whole doctor phase, and Kip quickly called him out on being a fucking self-aggrandizing fucking loser, and then Jay felt the need to go and defend that. So yeah, he was like counter post where he was like, "No, let me explain myself." It's probably his luscious hair. Yeah, they should be calling out Jay, but nobody is. Detroit Atheist Queen. If I missed, yeah, he said after a few moments of looking at her story and looking at other people's testimonies, you could tell their story was full of lies. Yeah. She did. She tried to go and sweep up after the fact, like, oh no, I never said anything about the CNC thing, but yeah, she did. Which again, I mean, that in of itself wouldn't have been damning. The totality of the evidence, everything that we're looking at, is what is damning. The fact that she now going on, we're getting closer and closer to like being a year after the fact, still refuses to make any type of public statement. And again, if she has any knowledge of what's going on around here, it's pretty bad. Like if she didn't know who she was fucking with, Jay Bundy is again like the worst of the worst, troll of trolls, and a lot of us have known this for years. Does he sometimes occasionally is the broken clock right twice a day? Yes. Occasionally he makes some valid points and he goes back into his fucking fantasy victim land, and that's where he likes to roll around.
Is a woman bringing an allegation of attempted rape and strangulation, is that unhealthy? Should Nancy have just been silent? Now, I'd like to put a caveat here, a little sidebar. If it turns out that Nancy has been completely lying, in other words, she made up the story to Stacy right off the get-go, her excited utterance in the moment of trauma is actually false, and this entire narrative is false, Kelly, you and the rest of these flying monkeys are still disgusting people. You're still misogynist and you're still hateful, because the rape myths that you're promoting are still rape myths. Even if Nancy turned out to be...
It's an interesting choice of words, calling it a myth. And what he's trying to say is that in being critical of any of the accounts made by the victim, that we are somehow like propagating in misinformation, which is in fact what they are doing, right? They are claiming things as facts that they have no way of knowing whether they're facts or not. And even based on, again, Nancy's statement at face value, you would not logically infer those things. You would have to take another step to say that X thing occurred. And Michael even corrects himself here because he keeps saying, oh, well, it was an assault. And then he goes, oh, no, it was an attempted assault. Right? And he goes, they loosely go back and forth. Well, was it the assault? Was it the attempted assault? Because, honestly, they're just speaking out of both sides of their mouths like they accuse of everybody else of doing.
A lying sociopath. Now, if Nancy is lying, that doesn't make Elliot Martin's behavior, orchestrating a smear campaign against her, orchestrating all this hatred towards her, all this hatred towards...
I don't see any evidence that Elliot had anything to do with people responding to Jay and Michael and other people talking about this, right? Like those other people, Elliot didn't contact me, so I can go based off of that, right? I haven't heard from Secular Rarity personally. I have seen no evidence of him trying to be involved in any of this shit, right? He's basically, in any time that he has been on other channels, it's to discuss, just trying to maintain some sense of normalcy throughout this and not engage with the trolls, right? That's the only behavior I've seen. Now, if you're claiming that he somehow cleverly orchestrated his own defense via all of us through this network, that's a big claim, sir. Do you have any evidence for that claim?
Towards Jay and me and Patty is gross.
And Kyle and PC and others. Kyle and PC. Oh yeah, Kyle posts a bunch of. I've been watching Kyle's posts too.
And what it would mean is Nancy suffers from some sort of mental illness and needs help. And I've also been told, oh well, Nancy's in a controlling bad marriage. Okay, but let's grant for the sake of argument that's true, that Nancy's in a terrible marriage. Nancy's a victim of abuse of her husband, and Nancy is mentally ill because she made up this entire story, or she's so controlled by her husband, which would also be an indicator that she has some problems that would require some very deep therapy and help to help her escape this, and to help her walk through why she was willing to, say, for instance, sign her name on that notarized statement and continue to allow her sister, who, like one of the flying monkeys wrote in a comment somewhere, I can't believe her sister would do this. Well, yeah, take that to its logical conclusion. I can't believe her sister would do that either. Jesus Christ, you guys are so dumb. Patty's behavior is unbelievable. If this was all lies and not true, Patty would be a monster. If Nancy is that woman that you guys are claiming, what you've done is heaped and piled on more abuse and more trauma and more hate. What she needed was your help, support, and love, not more accusations and more of this victim blaming and slut shaming. Is public scrutiny and criticism and accountability, are those the things that are, quote, unhealthy for a community? These are the very things that we have been railing against the church for doing for years, protecting powerful men in positions of leadership, not wanting sexual abuse to be discussed openly when accusations are made. The community keeps treating the conversation as the disease. What if the conversation is a symptom of the disease? Kelly, silence gives the appearance.
Did anybody ever tell Nancy not to speak publicly? Is there no evidence of that? None? Not at all. Okay. Did Nancy ask the situation to be handled with discretion, right? Yes, we do have evidence of that. Um, Subsequently, what happened after that? Well, we don't know, right? Because we don't have any receipts on that shit, right? So, I don't know, Michael. I don't know. But you could jump to conclusions. You could jump to conclusions. You can say that you've had correspondence with Nancy, but we don't have to believe you.
Appearance of peace. But silence is not actually peace. Communities don't heal by covering up pussy infected wounds with pretty band-aids with little flowers on them and pretending. Your generation was a generation of pretenders, Kelly. Break the cycle. Do you really want your children, grandchildren, and the rest of the younger community, the Gen Zs and the young people, do you really want them growing up the way you were raised, where nobody would dare accuse a powerful man? No woman would dare speak up. Women knew their place back when we were young, Kelly. Women knew to shut up. My mother was sexually abused, raped by her father until she was like 17, 18 years old, and she finally screamed out, and he stopped after that, after she objected, and it led her to tremendous community.
Well, that really sucks, and I guess he decided to edit that part out. But but yeah, anecdotal experience. All right. Well, where do we go from there? Where do we go from there? What else? Sorry, no, I completely fell off. I lost my train of thought. Ember says, if only Michael would read the basic literature on trauma and abuse. I even made it into easy short videos for these fools, but they're allergic to facts. Yeah, Ember, yeah, has definitely released some of the most, I think, relevant responses to that with AJ as well. I mean, everybody here is doing a lot of great work, but yeah, just shout out to that. And AJ says, and what Jay has done is great, telling porn stories about Nancy. Yeah, no, it's really disgusting. Like, and if it were true, it wouldn't be something you would think that the victim would want to be repeated just over and over again, as if we didn't hear him the first time. Um, yeah, I think it's interesting that these guys call themselves the crusaders for like moral righteousness in the community, and simultaneously take this tact of retelling the story in more and more agonizing um, kind of yeah. Is that like it's really taking it more to the extreme than what the story is actually portrayed um, in her own narrative in the notarized statement, right? Um, it's just weird,
These
man.
are not damaged by talking about sexual assaults and financial impropriety and cover-ups. They're
The repeated allegations of financial impropriety, which they again seem to have no evidence for. He's just like, well, I tried to look it up and I couldn't figure it out because I did see their tax forms, but I didn't know how to read them, so I'm going to continue to say that somehow there's financial impropriety with no fucking receipts. So that's another
they are
allegation.
damaged by the assaults, by the financial cover-ups and mismanagement and lies. The community is being harmed by the people you're supporting. The Casey and John Gleason, Kelly, have done incredible damage to the community. They've supported a man credibly accused of attempting to rape a woman at a conference that their friend helped organize.
Attempting. See, we go from it happened to it was attempted. Yeah. Freethinkers Fireside says I sent him my Survivor Story video, and I'm like 99% certain he didn't watch it. Yeah, I guess so, because he's already targeted you, right? So why would he bother to listen to anything we have to say if we're on Team Flying Monkey? Yeah. And Ember said smear campaigns making a spectacle out of a shocking story for revenge and or personal glory. That is what he's doing, but they're so trauma informed that they don't even know the term they use daily. Yep, that's right.
And they're intimately involved with. They put the accused and the accuser into a room together to facilitate a quote forgiveness? Are they qualified?
Did they put them together in a room? There was the interview in which AJ represented Nancy, right, and talked to SR, and then later on, when Nancy asked to communicate with SR, they provided her the means to do that. Um, but I don't see anybody facilitating this conversation. They chose to have this conversation to grown adults, right? And they said, okay, you want to talk to him? You talk to him. And maybe some people advised against that, right? But Nancy didn't want to listen to that. And now they are accused of wrongdoing for simply providing her the means to communicate with him, which she asked for.
For that,
Crazy.
do either one of them have degrees in psychology, or are they psychiatrists? Did they consult anything? Did they even bother to look? Because if they had, they would know what they did was unethical. And as recently as inside of 2 weeks ago, John was still posting comments such as one he did to Brooklyn Lou that Nancy was the aggressor and that Nancy was trying to force Elliot to perform a consensual non-consent act on her, and it went bad. That's your friend, Kelly.
I mean, that kind of rings closer to the truth, doesn't it? From everything we know, the aggressive kissing, she told people she was going to get him into bed, etc., etc. Doesn't seem too far from the truth.
That's the kind of things your friend is doing. And he has specifically called Nancy and Patty liars. And he has worked since the beginning to keep this covered up and not talked about. John Gleason is a fucking piece of shit, human filth, misogynist, and he's probably a racist. We'll get to that later. But he's a
Oh, now accusing John of racism. Because if Jay Bundy's doing the racism, we have to try to pit that on the other side too. Ooh. Hey, what's up, Bree? Good to see you.
fucking asshole. And you being friends with him and giving him money and supporting him makes you a fucking asshole. You are known by the friends you
Supporting the conference equals supporting John, apparently in their minds. If any of these people continue to support the conference, A, they're involved in the conspiracy, and B, they must all be like actual friends, right? Both completely ridiculous claims. Again, with there's just no basis in reality, no understanding of how the conferences are organized or what these individual nonprofit organizations actually do. No consideration for no, it's a conspiracy cover up, cleverly orchestrated that we have no evidence for, but we're going to continue to mouthpiece about every day, all day. That's what we
keep.
do.
And the Gleasons are toxic, ugly, lying, disgusting human beings. In section 11, Kelly, quoting Kelly, people are out there telling people to choose sides. Well, you know what? Sometimes not choosing is choosing. If silence benefits one side more than the other, and the side that it benefits is the side of power, patriarchy, those seeking to manage reputation and manage profits and keep powerful people in their positions, and silence an unpowerful, vulnerable woman, then
Yeah, right here. I mean, this is a pre-recorded and edited video. I'm just saying. I'm sorry you're sick, Michael, but come on, bro.
still sick, probably have COVID. I might die, but I'm going to get my words out. When one person's asking for accountability and the other side's asking for silence, neutrality doesn't affect both sides equally. And it's clear. It's clear when you have a vulnerable woman who's being told to shut up and a powerful man who's being replatformed and supported by tons of people. There's, Kelly, if this exact situation was happening in a church that you had a connection to, say you had some friends that were still Christians, you would 100% be on the side of Nancy and Patty. You would have no problem calling.
I mean, potentially. I mean, so this is the only halfway decent point he makes is that yeah, we're probably going to tend to be more hypercritical of religious institutions, especially if we have prior experience with them. But I mean, to like what Ed's point, to what Ed was saying, and what my point has been is there is no reason that we should not exercise the same critical thinking skills when it comes to claims made within this community. Um, Now, we have a lot of evidence of um, like these very toxic kind of things happening within the church that we can point to, right? And we can see that the cover-ups have happened. Um, and so this is one way they try to lend credibility to this theory that this is now what's going on within the atheist community or atheist communities, more yeah, more precisely, I guess, um, because it's not one monolithic organization. It's many organizations working in conjunction with each other in order to create a secular space where people can gather and have these functions, right? Um, so that's something he's going to go back to later again.
calling out a pastor that did the things that Elliot Martin did, and calling out boards and friends on the church that did what NanoCon's board did. NanoCon had Elliot Cantor, who was a founder and was on the board of NanoCon for years by his own testimony, and is certainly close to Elliot because Elliot was helping to organize NanoCon. And Georgia Phelps. So Georgia Phelps is on Elliot's nonprofit's quote team. So whether she's on the board or part of the inner circle or whatnot, she's still so.
I see. Sorry, I saw Nitty is finally caught up. Darvo. Well, he did some editing. He just didn't edit out the cough and spit the loogie part, which is kind of gross, but okay. And Free Thinkers Fireside said, so if John is a sponsor and speaker at Black Nonbelievers, does that make everyone a racist? Yeah. They're you pick your choice of words there. He's Law and Order obsessed. Yeah, certainly seems like it. And Michael is playing lawyer in his spare time because he read like allegedly he read a singular publication on the like neurobiology of trauma and yeah, something like that, I guess.
Socializing. She was at least she RSVP to a meetup at a bar in Nashville just this last week organized by Elliot Martin. So she's friends with him, or at least socially interacts and is on his team. She and Elliot Cantor were the quote investigators. If a church did that, if a pastor was accused of attempted rape and strangulation, and the investigation was held by his church board, Kelly, would you find that problematic? Now, be honest. You say you have integrity. Be honest. Now, of course, you have to say yes. That would be problematic if a church did it. So therefore, you're a hypocrite and have a double standard if you don't call out NanoCon. Do you see how that works? Do you see how integrity works, Kelly? Integrity means that you stick to the honest truth and you don't have a double standard, even if it's your friends. That's integrity. See my tattoo? It's upside down, I know, but it says integrity.
He has integrity tattooed on his arm, so therefore he must have integrity, I guess.
I live by this. I
have stoic tattooed on my arm, so I am always stoic in all occasions. No, sorry, that's not how that works.
By
buddy.
Integrity. And my integrous self tells me that you're not being integrous. And because I have integrity.
Yeah, Bree, is Michael a lawyer? I thought he was a psychiatrist and a private investigator. He's trying. He's trying hard.
I spot dishonesty quite easily. Section 12, Nancy.
Hey, welcome, Maya. Good to see you. What churches is he calling out? The Church of Atheism. Yeah, he's calling out. Apparently, yeah.
Excuse me. Kelly's quote about Nancy, quote, that should be a small comfort to Nancy that people have taken her seriously. The woman was attacked, pinned to the ground, told she was going to be fucked. She thought she was going to be raped. And you want her to have a small comfort that something's being done. Well, first of all, you all aren't.
Well, yeah. Something is being done by you guys, that's for sure. And it's not just that she's being taken seriously, it's that you guys are taking it to the fences, right? Like you're taking her claims and ramping them up to 110, right? Like, because again, they can go out here and scream grape all day, right? That's not what it said. And then when they walk it back and say, oh, well, it was attempted. Well, did we see that? No, that wasn't the claim made. Like in the letter, if we believe the letter, um, that wasn't what she said.
Taking her
So
seriously. Because if you took her seriously, you wouldn't be platforming Elliot Martin, and you wouldn't be lying and hiding behind soft words and using language that
did Godless Granny platform Elliot? I don't know. I haven't seen anything recently. But did she know about the claim at that time? That'd be another question.
isn't clear and straightforward. Like something happened. Well, we know something happened. We just don't know what. Well, because you can't believe women when they say someone tried to rape them because they're the weaker sex and the women lie all the time. Most men that are accused of sexual assault.
This is a great point, Sandals. I kind of think people who say they are immune to bullshit are people who are too deep into the bullshit but thinking they aren't. Yeah, yeah, true that. I mean, and yeah, AJ said Godless Granny did not platform him after NanoCon. Yeah, I didn't expect that she would have. And then Nancy never expressed what Michael is saying, though. She never said she thought she was going to be raped. Yeah, it's not there. These are assumptions made by these people after the fact. Uh, Kip says, I've noticed that Michael Jones of Inspiring Philosophy has tattoos on each arm, both in languages he cannot read. His integrity must be off the charts. Yeah, impressive, right? He's like, hey, let me Google yeah, yeah, get your tattoo from a Google search.
Are victims of lying whores and sluts like Nancy. We know this is true, don't we, Kelly? Those of us down here in the South, we have a long history of protecting powerful white men because they are good. They're God's chosen people to lead us. And those
Oh, yikes, yikes. I was gonna give an anecdote, but I'll let it go. Yeah, we'll let Michael keep
Jezebel
going.
women, well, we know about them from our Bible. They are liars, they are whores, they are sluts. And that Nancy, she gonna get hers. She gonna get her someday. She gonna be held to account. No, there's no fucking small comfort to Nancy, you dumb fucking woman. This has been re-traumatizing and fucking horrible.
You dumb fucking woman. Yeah. I agree, Dr. Kip. Yeah, the way Michael's using this, I mean, yeah, I've in the past used the twang when talking Bible, um, but it's not like mean spirited. I don't think. I don't know. Maybe I should reassess that. But yeah, Kelly does not speak that way, right? I he's obviously doing this to try to get under her skin, um, which is so gross. And then yeah, I don't think we're gonna make it there today. But at the end, I really wonder how this conversation came about because Michael portrays it like Kelly sent him this email unsolicited, which I just don't fucking buy. Um, and yeah, spoiler alert, but at the end, he's gonna like, accuse her of not wanting to talk about this on the channel, right? Or maybe like talking about trying to provide intentions behind why she won't talk about it on the channel, which I think
What do you
is
think Nancy thinks about
stupid.
you, Kelly, calling her sister or inferring her sister's just a complete liar sociopath? Because that's what you're doing. Was Nancy believed, supported, protected? Was she vindicated? No, she was trashed, vilified, had a smear campaign run on her. And John and Casey Gleason, your friends who you financially support, are still trashing the woman. You disgust me.
Disgusting. Yeah. Oh, they've been trying to get her on their side for weeks. Yeah. I'd imagine that's kind of what I got from this. Was they reached out to her and she says, "No, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not getting involved in this shit." And so then they attacked her.
Kelly. Section 13, Kelly says, one person behaving badly at one event. No, are you that blind? This has been happening at many events. In fact, Elliot Cantor has actually testified in one of the streams that he's done a whole bunch of these investigations.
So what he said in that stream, you dumb fuck, was that he was talking about his career history. As far as I could tell, he wasn't just talking about these events. He was talking about his history doing security investigations and shit, and said, "Yeah, I've done cases like this before." He didn't say it was like rampant within these events. That wasn't even close to what was said there. Like, what? How are you even fucking gonna go there? What's up, Coley? It's good to see you.
You hear that, Kelly? There's been a whole bunch of investigations by your hero, Elliot Cantor, who's been propped up as being so fair and integrous that he wouldn't recuse himself when his own friend and buddy and insider got accused of attempted rape and strangulation. Jesus fucking Christ.
Was he friends with SR prior to this? Do we have? I don't know that either. I don't see. Even if he was, I mean, I don't know if there's a conflict of interest in him investigating the claim, depending upon the nature of his relationship with SR. But I don't see much evidence of that either.
The more I think about this, the more stupid I find you, Kelly. Jesus, it wasn't one person behaving badly. It was a whole bunch of people, including you. You're behaving badly.
Okay. There was a whole bunch of people, including you. But no, you were talking about the people directly involved, the witnesses, the investigator, the organizers, and now because Godless Granny supports an event, now she is involved too. Because she refuses to bring the drama to her channel, now she is involved too, and she is a disgusting piece of shit, subhuman, dumb woman, according to you, right?
AJ Ruley and the Gleasons are behaving horrifically. And all the flying monkeys, all the people in
Integris, yeah, he keeps using that one. He's like, I looked up, I was like, what does this tattoo on my arm mean? And I Googled it, and I was looking up etymology. Oh, welcome, welcome. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. What's up? Happy Tuesday. Good to see you. And Dr. Kip says Granny has done nothing. Yeah, and that is a crime now. Having no position or being agnostic is a fucking crime and we'll be targeted for it. So, yeah, because we didn't jump on the Jay Bundy fucking freight train.
involved in this. It's terrible. Attempted rape and strangulation is not someone behaving badly. From the research paper, one of the things it points out is sexual assault is an assault on human dignity. Nancy's dignity was stripped. And then instead of supporting her and helping her, this group of people, Flying Monkeys, which you're part of, Kelly, organized in some cases organized to do crime, to silence her, to betray her in the most horrific ways, call her a liar, call her sister a liar, call those people who came out in public support her all kinds of trashy, garbage, nonsensical names and accusations, and all as a smokescreen, all as a
I haven't heard anybody talking shit about Nancy as such. I've heard some choice words about Patty, but all anybody has said is that this isn't what they heard from Nancy, and it's very shocking that we'd be getting this story later, presented as it is, right? It's puzzling, and then we get the behavior of yourself and Jay Bundy and other people out here making very, very specific, highly charged statements. Um, oh wait, so Cantor said, didn't Cantor say that the investigations were for all types of incidents, not just SA, such as fraud and theft? Yes. Yeah, he said he had been involved in investigations of all of those kinds, and I think that was over the totality, the whole of his career, not just being involved in these events, but other events as well, right? He was just saying that he had experience rather in these investigations. Um, and then Maya said, if one of my friends was hanging out with people who did hit pieces on me, that would be the last brunch, but that's just me, right? Yeah, I mean, we're past the point of like inviting Jay or Michael on to have a conversation, right? I mean, they need to acknowledge what the fuck they've done, and they're not going to. The only tactic they can take is to double down and then accuse other people of being just as bad as they are. And Freethinkers Fireside said there was no crime at all. And I got that from a cop. I quote, this barely qualifies as assault from the first letter that they clocked the second and said, oh, this is completely Patty. That's rough. That is rough. I mean, she had to have signed it. I mean, to get it notarized. That is true, right? I guess. Um, yeah. AJ says she asked us for silence. We respected it. She didn't want all this public. If she changed her mind, then making the details public is fair. Yeah. Everything leading up to it. And if she changed her mind, she could have expressed that to any number of people who were supporting her. Kalia says, organized to do a crime is itself a crime. It's called collusion. And that's what Jay and Michael and his unfuckables have been doing. Yeah. And then, the policies he wrote were for sexual harassment. Investigations were about all kinds of things. I don't see how Elliot Cantor is fucking in any way at fault. They're just trying to paint him as like this internal investigator who's friends with everybody there. Like he can't do his fucking job if he has friends in the organization, which is completely ludicrous. And you would think that, yeah, if you work with an organization long enough, yeah, you will have friendly relationships with some of the leadership. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to commit fraud for them. As a professional, that's that would obviously be highly problematic, and we don't have any evidence of it. Just claims. Just claims. There's a lot of claims being made here. Jeez. And Ember says, all events have incidents. This is the 5th year of my Comic-Con, and it's the first time we've had 0 incidents. Humans are going to human. Yeah. Yeah, especially if they're drinking. I mean, you're just going to say, like, there's, a lot of drug and alcohol related shit that people do, and, we want to cut loose at whatever event we're going to. It's just like, I made the analogy to concerts a while ago. Same fucking thing, dude. Like, yeah, people are gonna do some fucked up shit when they're out here disinhibited in large groups of people. It happens, right? It's not evidence that anybody was doing something evil or nefarious. Especially if there was no way they could have prevented that incident without, there was no way that anybody could have prevented what happened in light of the circumstances, even if we take it at face value from Nancy's notarized letter. Bree says, was it a crime when they reached out to threaten witnesses? Was that a crime? Ask your lawyer's son if that was illegal or not, Michael. Oh, see, we got other pieces of the puzzle just falling in place, right? Who's making threats? Who's reaching out behind the scenes and trying to coerce people? Is that the Jay Bundy camp? Seems likely to me.
Smoke screen. So Kelly writes, section 14 of my notes, quoting Kelly, I do not think this is a reason to burn down our entire community. Well, first of all, your community sucks. It protects predators. So yes, I think that community should be burnt down, just like I feel and have felt that the church communities need to be burnt down. You can have community with real friends without doing it for profit. Do you think Rocket City Reason is about community or about enriching the Gleasons? As far as
enriching the Gleasons? Are they going to make a whole bunch of money off of Rocket City Reason? Oh boy.
Intel is not a nonprofit. So they're not even pretending to be doing this as a charity or to help people. They're doing it to...
The event itself is not a nonprofit? Are the organizers of the event nonprofits?
Make money. Now, making a profit by holding events and so forth isn't in itself necessarily wrong. Lots of, a restaurant sells food, people go there to eat, they pay money, the restaurant, presuming it's well run, makes money. Concerts, you go see Taylor Swift and she makes money, and the promoters make money, and people selling t-shirts make money.
Yeah, those people make a hell of a lot more money than anybody involved in atheist conventions.
That in itself isn't necessarily wrong about it. What's wrong here is that the quote community,
right? Coleus's conference costs money to run. Yeah, you got to rent the venue, you've got to pay the speakers, you've got all these accommodations you have to spend money on. It's a fucking investment. Come on.
The quote community masks itself as something that it isn't. John and Casey Gleason don't give a fuck about poor, vulnerable women. This is obvious by their behavior. They don't care. And the other sick thing is Elliot Martin is most likely a sociopath, has narcissistic personality disorder. He's certainly a bad actor.
Is he making all of these? How is he diagnosing secular rarity as a? What did he say? I'm sorry. A sociopath with
Don't give a
narcissistic.
fuck about poor, vulnerable
Go
women.
again. Go again.
This is obvious by their behavior. They don't care. And the other sick thing is Elliot Martin is most likely a sociopath, has narcissistic personality disorder. He's certainly a bad actor. He used
How did you discern that? How did you discern that Elliot Martin was a sociopath with narcissistic personality disorder and a bad actor? What information? What evidence do you have? Have you had a conversation with this person? Do you have, where are you getting this from? Did you watch a bunch of SR appearances on the line and make this come to this conclusion?
uses
How?
people, and this is patently obvious to anyone that looks. He's used AJ Ruley. He's used Bree. He's used Ember. He's used the Gleasons. He's used everybody. Now, people like Elliot Martin.
He is using you. Did you hear that, chat? Yeah, and AJ says Jay also diagnosed me the other day. Oh wow, these guys, they should form like a group or something. I
Don't
don't
have
know.
real
There's
friends. They
so
can't
much
because they
talent
lack
here.
empathy. They know how to mask empathy. They know how to use people. And he's used people, and by extension, he's using you, Ellie. There is an important distinction between, quote, destroying a community and asking for accountability. These aren't the same thing. And things that, when light and accountability get shown on them, get destroyed, those things need to be destroyed.
What the fuck are you even talking about? You guys didn't succeed in destroying anything. Like again, I just asked, like how many people that were going to attend NanoCon are not attending NanoCon based on these people's words. I I I just wonder. I'm like, what was the actual effect of your crusade here? You definitely didn't get the fucking event shut down.
This atheist skeptic, quote, community isn't a real community. It's a group of powerful people who left the church but stayed in the cult of patriarchy, capitalism, and abusing little people, and they use it to glorify themselves. This is how
Abusing little people? That sounds like a bigoted remark. Also,
Matt
sorry.
Dillahunty, who's, quote, well respected and so popular, can refer to an attempted rape and strangulation as just some drama and just dismiss it and ignore it. And how Justin of Deconstruction Zone can call an attempted rape and a strangulation, a sexual assault, a, quote, nothing burger.
No, it's your words and your bullshit that you spew over here on your pretend, legal psychological analysis, fucking whatever you're doing. That's the nothing burger. That's the drama. The allegations, what happened, things that we cannot possibly know, that the police are not going to act on, the district attorney is not going to act on because there ain't nothing there for them to work with. That was the whole claim. And you guys going around repeating the story, they'll make it so, right? It's like, all the people who said, "Oh, well, I know Jesus. I heard the story of the crucifixion and I believe it was real. I feel it in my heart." All of those people, they're full of shit, just like you're full of shit. Bring evidence, bring facts, uh, get over your fucking feelings and move along and do the rational adult thing. But no, no, that's not what's going to happen here. Anyway, I've been the Trusty Ape. I got to get out of here for today, but much love to everybody. I saw Waste Human, Freethinkers Fireside, Better Than Ember, Maya Agason, Coleus, Dr. Kip Davis, Nitty, that's Nitty, and Jur, Bree at the Hive, or Hive Science, or Hive Sci, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. I saw some other people early in the chat came through. Trying to catch everybody here. Detroit Atheist Queen. Will Freeman stopped by. Smoky Bears. And did I say Freethinkers Fireside? I think I said, yeah, hello, Freethinkers Fireside. Um, Better than Ember. Ooh, Cat Cienfuegos. Shit, fuck, reach out, man. Sorry, I missed that one. Um, all right, I think I got everybody for today. But yeah, we're gonna roll on out, and we'll finish some more of these videos later. I got a bunch of them in the pipe. It just my watch later list keeps expanding despite my best efforts, so it is what it is. But anyway, have a happy rest of your Tuesday, and to everybody watching in the past, present, and future, much love, be kind, be well, and stay trusty. We'll see you next time.